HOA cop parked on my ranch, so Grandpa used a tractor and dragged it into the creek. The sun hung heavy over the rolling hills of our family's ranch, painting the fields gold and glinting off the delicate white Karen flowers that lined the creek. For generations, this land had been our sanctuary, a place where my family toiled, loved, and stood their ground. I'm Lila, 24, and I'd returned to the ranch after college to help Grandpa keep it alive. But that summer, everything changed because of a single police cruiser parked on our property without permission. It started with a complaint. The new HOA in the nearby gated community, Crestview, had been eyeing our land. They called it unkempt, said our wild Karen flowers were a nuisance that lowered their property values. They wanted us to pave over the creek, to tame the land that had been ours since before their mansions existed. Grandpa, a wiry 78-year-old with a temper as fierce as the summer heat, laughed it off. "They can kiss my tractor," he'd said, spitting tobacco into the dirt. But then Officer Daniels showed up. He was young, barely 30, with a pressed uniform and a smirk that screamed city boy. He parked his cruiser right on our grazing field, claiming he was investigating a complaint about our flowers spreading onto Crestview's land. "You folks need to comply with HOA regulations," he said, leaning against his car like he owned the place. I clenched my fists, feeling the weight of his arrogance. Grandpa, hoe in hand, stared him down. "This ain't Crestview, son. Get your tin can off my grass." Daniels didn't budge. He cited ordinances, waved papers, and threatened fines. The HOA had gotten to him, probably with promises of favors. I saw red, but Grandpa's eyes burned hotter. He didn't say a word, just walked to the barn, climbed onto his old John Deere tractor, and fired it up. The engine roared like a beast woken from sleep. Daniels laughed, thinking it was a bluff. "You wouldn't dare," he said. He was wrong. Grandpa hit the gas, and the tractor lurched forward. He hooked a chain to the cruiser's bumper, and before Daniels could react, the car was sliding across the field, tires screeching, toward the creek. The tension didn't end there. Word spread, and Crestview's HOA descended like vultures. Their leader, Mrs. Hargrove, a woman with a fake smile and a vendetta, called Grandpa a menace. She rallied neighbors, claiming our defiance threatened their community standards. Social media erupted. Some called Grandpa a hero, others a lunatic. Daniels filed charges, and the sheriff, an old friend of Grandpa's, warned us the law wouldn't bend. I felt trapped, torn between pride in our stand and fear of losing everything. Then came the twist. Ellie, a quiet girl from Crestview, barely 16, showed up at our porch one night. She was Mrs. Hargrove's daughter, but her eyes were soft, not cruel. "I saw what happened," she whispered, glancing over her shoulder. "Mom's lying. The HOA paid Daniels to harass you. They want your land for a golf course." She handed me a USB drive with emails proving it. Ellie's betrayal of her own mother shook me. She wasn't just a kid. She was risking everything to do what was right. Her courage made me see the fight wasn't just ours, it was about anyone who'd ever been bullied by power. We took the evidence to court. The judge, a no-nonsense woman, threw out Daniels' charges when the emails surfaced. The HOA backed off, humiliated, but the victory was hollow. The creek was ruined, our flowers trampled, and Grandpa's health was fading. The stress had worn him down. One evening, as we sat by the wrecked creek, he coughed, his hands trembling. "I fought for this land, Lila," he said, voice breaking. "But it ain't just dirt. It's us." That night, he passed away in his sleep, leaving me the ranch and a wound that wouldn't heal. The HOA never apologized. Daniels got reassigned, but Crestview's mansions still loom on the horizon. A reminder of the fight we won, but the peace we lost. The Karen flowers are growing back, stubborn as Grandpa, but every bloom feels like a scar. I walk the ranch alone now, wondering if standing our ground was worth the cost. Ellie visits sometimes, planting flowers with me, her quiet rebellion a flicker of hope. But the creek still runs murky, and Grandpa's tractor sits silent in the barn. I keep fighting, for him, for the land, For the truth, Ellie risked everything to share. But some days, the weight of it all, the defiance, the loss feels too heavy. The Karen flowers sway in the breeze, beautiful and fragile. A reminder that even in victory, something precious can be broken. What would you do when power tries to crush what's yours? Stand and fight, or let it go for peace? Share your thoughts.